we are going to be going over some of the worst games that we've played this year because not everything always comes off perfectly. So, yeah, unfortunately, it has been a great year for the most part, but unfortunately, some things just, yeah, don't come out the way you want them to. Either you play them and they're not living up to your hype, or you read the reviews and they just aren't doing great, but for whatever reason, they didn't come out great. All right. Well, Phil, do you have a game you want to talk about? Are you still thinking about it?
Oh wait, sorry. The next paragraph, then he says, "But now there's a ton." Okay, so maybe I don't know. I just
Nothing's coming out, but now there
why
is.
spend the entire intro of your first paragraph saying, "Oh, there's been no news about this. Everything's going to be cancelled." The next one saying, "Oh, but now there's a lot of information."
Clickbait.
Yeah, great, dude. Thank you. Now I look like a fool.
It's all clickbait.
All right.
10 worst games. I always have bad years, to be honest. I always seem to pick games that I don't particularly end up enjoying, and I don't really know why. I should stick to being more. I've had some okay games. Like I finally getting into Vermintide 2, and I'd never played that before. And Outriders was swing and a miss, but I think at the end I kind of liked it, and I did play it like crazy. But there's two games this year, and again, like we've already talked about, Dark Alliance being upsetting, and to be honest, not a stage below what Vermintide is. So I'm going to go with one of my mobile phone games, Warhammer Chaos and Conquest, which I've played for about the last few years, I think 2 or 3 years, base building, and I've got videos on the channel which cover some statistics and tactics and things to pay attention to and which commanders to use. And to be honest, it wasn't a very good game, to be fair. And if it hadn't have been for the Warhammer skin and all of the characters and stuff, I probably wouldn't have continued playing it for as long as I did. But they've just made a long line of progressive decisions that have taken the game down, heavily milking the final whales that linger in the game, and it's just kind of driven everybody away. And I think they just had a couple of really bad policy decisions over the summer. Wait, what month are we in now? Yeah, sort of like through the summer. They made like 3 or 4 really bad decisions that a lot of people didn't like. They wanted to. They always try and merge servers together so that all of a sudden the whales or the big groups with the spenders will continue to spend. And they had like a lot of expansions, but the expansions were always about one server versus another server, and one was always ridiculously overpowered and twice as strong as the other. And there was never any real balance between all of the servers. So because there's never a balance between the servers, you could never have any event that was particularly really well balanced. Maybe there was like, out of the 10 servers playing, there was maybe 2 that were kind of similar-ish and maybe 2 that were kind of similar-ish, and all the rest were just on like a scale progression of terrible to we've been playing this game for 4 years and we're going to kill you. And because of this, just all the events were no fun. So they made an expansion, which was like an Ulthuan area. This was like last year, I think. Around Christmas-ish, I think. But the event was just you go to an island and everybody can go onto that island from all of the servers, and you can take some special cities and you can get special rewards. But of course, in the first 6 or 7 months of this event, there was only ever the very oldest and the best server that just claimed everything and got all of the prizes. So everybody else was just feeding off scraps. And they did some mergers and they tried to make some balance. And there was like 1 or 2 other servers which were could potentially fight for these prizes, but everybody else was just pointless. You duck and cover and try and roll and get whatever little scrapes of reward you could get or special tokens and icons, but it just wasn't really fun. And they just continued to do this on. They changed the policy, so every 3 weeks, 1 week you got linked up with another server for a server war, which, like I said, was always either horrifically in your favor or against you. And then 1 week was this Ulthuan area, which was just the main biggest 1 or 2 servers would win all the prizes. And then there was one week which would be all of the groups inside of your server fight each other for dominance on the cities. And again, most of the servers are so well established that there was always one group that were just head and shoulders above everybody else, and they claimed all of the cities and they got all the prizes. So there was just no balance with it. I feel like they kind of developed the game in a way that was becoming increasingly obvious that they just wanted to milk as much money as they could. And so no surprises when Lord of the Rings came out. Similar-ish mobile phone, base building, units going through, but with far more tactics and seasons and all those type of events. A good chunk from our clans, from our servers, and from the game in general, from reading the Discord, sort of all jumped ship and went, well, if we're going to invest our time and play games heavily, we're not just going to do it for the chat in a system. We're not just going to do it anymore for the skins of which models you've used over it. We're going to go somewhere that's just more appreciative of the community, more engaging, and a game that's going in the right direction. Or in this case, something that's just started, so they can properly get in from the ground up. So I think it's been a bad year, and it's been pretty sad because it's a game that I got my dad to play, because my dad's always been into computer. He used to do my RuneScape farming when I was at school, back from like, how many years ago was that, without showing my age, but decades ago, many decades. And yeah, so I would go to school and then I would come back and he would have just fished a fishing node or mined the mining node like he used to do in RuneScape. And I eventually got 99. So we've always had computer games as sort of like a little bit of a chill out, and he always asked me what to do, what to build, and stuff like that. So it's sad because we've been playing this one for like 2 years, and well, to be honest, he still has no idea what he's doing. But I do need to get him into Lord of the Rings so he can kill himself on that game instead of Warhammer Chaos and Conquest. But he is bad because he is one of those people who has no issue with spending money. So he can quite easily and happily maybe spend $150 every weekend. And then, my mum gets the credit card bill and she's like, what? What's $600? What is Warhammer Chaos and Conquest? And I was just like, oh, shut up, woman. It's my money. I can do what I want, blah, 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 blah. So, well, I mean, she buys everything she wants. They're in that comfy stage now, but they're both retired. They've got plenty of pensions. They don't really have the anything to worry about. So,
we'll burn out before the money does.
I think a lot of these games are kind of marketed towards those people that are either retired or they've got a lot of free time, and they're more than willing to just go, yeah, okay, $100. So I will probably get him to do the shift because he's still playing this game, and I haven't played it since like June or July, and he still messages me and says, oh, can you sort my armies out? Can you please sort my research out? Can you please do this? I'm like, Dad, I've not played it for like 5 months. I've forgotten everything. But yeah, I guess you guys have always complained about mobile phone games being like sort of that, the pay to, I suppose you guys have more encountered the pay to play rather than the pay to win aspect of these type of games.
Yeah, for me it's just the kind of the pay to play, especially the energy systems where you can only do so much and then you have to stop, and or you can pay money and then you can continue playing. Yeah.